What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. We are going to talk about our initial impressions of this Hero for Hire team and just how absurd they seem to be doing so far on war defense and what we've found with them so far in terms of counters. I'm joined once again by Hamzia. Say hello to all the McMinions out there, Hamzia.
Hello, McMinions.
So, yeah, we've been talking about this a little bit today. You've got several people who've thrown Heroes for Hire on defense, and I don't know if you've fought any in war yet.
Not yet.
No, but
Luckily, not yet.
yeah. But yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about some of the things you've noticed with people fighting your Heroes for Hire teams. We're gonna talk a little bit about good fifth slot characters to use with this team. There's been I see a lot of people throwing Ms. Marvel and Jessica Jones onto the team. We'll talk about that and some different combinations you guys can use with this team for that fifth slot, depending on where you are in war rooms and what room buffs you have going on, because that can kind of open things up and make this team even nastier. But yeah, so Hamzia, talk to me about this. You sent me several screenshots of this Heroes for Hire team, and just some of the weird and interesting defense that you saw them get against some pretty decent war offense teams.
Yeah, the only one that we've had attacked so far is a 250k team. And it looks like he kind of just he picked up the character, he put what he could on them and slapped them on defense.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're starting with this 350k Brotherhood team that all they did was kill JJ. And I think that this spot we're going to talk about it later, but I think it's just going to be a revolving door. You can put a pylon there and you'll still net as many wins as you can, because the fifth spot doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's basically like Heroes for Hire and just a random friend in that fifth slot.
Yeah, I think there is some synergy that you can see
Mm-hmm.
with certain characters, but and with ISOs, but yeah, and actually I just noticed that he actually didn't even wasn't able to get an ISO on Misty
Yeah.
yet. So his Misty's sitting without an ISO at the moment.
Yeah, he's got
And
some interesting ones on here. Fortifier on Luke, which makes sense. He's got Striker on Jessica, which is an odd
yeah,
choice. I never really thought about putting Striker on Jessica.
she hits like a truck. I mean, you can get a
That is
bonus
true.
hit. Yeah.
That is true.
But
Um,
one thing as well is we don't have anybody putting vulnerable on this team.
yeah,
So they are not
exactly.
even at the highest potential they could be at this level.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy thing is we have a 100k punch up or punch down from a Brotherhood,
Yeah,
ended up in a victory. 160k from a power armor, ended up in a
it
victory.
did almost nothing against this Heroes for Hire team.
Yeah, like they healed up to full, and then they probably tried to take them down and maybe
Yeah, it
killed
looks like
them, and then
Luke.
got resurrected.
Yeah, it looks like Luke didn't really change health, and Iron Fist lost like maybe 10 to 15% of his health.
Yeah,
And then the next fight was a Defenders. This was an interesting one. A Defenders 240k punch
punch down.
down and managed to defeat
Yeah,
Iron Fist. And this is where usually things get interesting, because once you take out one of the Heroes for Hire team characters, they're supposed to be able to lose the ability to get charged on them, which means they can't revive, they don't constantly heal. But it still took a couple of attempts to kill this team before
yep,
like here there's an aim punch down 100 or sorry 60k punch down that looks like it did pretty much nothing. And then
well, it was a
finally,
cancel.
yeah, it was a canceled one. And then
Yeah,
this, what is this, 250k punch down with power armor 2,
yeah.
which seems a bit overkill, but
Well, I mean, if you look at the scores, you could tell that they were just stuck. They couldn't do anything on this
yeah.
team. They couldn't do anything, and like, as if I was an alliance leader on that alliance, I would have just switched gears after the first one. I would have been like, okay, we're just gonna go around them because we're losing time. And actually, by the time that they killed that team, I think we had taken out their armory already, and we were already going through the second global. So I think the big thing with this team is people might have an answer to them. It might take a little bit, but while they're stuck on your heroes for hire, you can capitalize on that and just like cut through defenses. And as
Yep.
long as you don't encounter the same teams, it's an automatic like it's going to be an I win button for you, right? Just having them on defense. The guys that have them on defense, the guys that have them built up, are just going to tear through because they have a strong defense. They're going to be able to tear through your offense so quickly.
Yeah, there was I saw one video earlier today of a surfer plus Hela plus I think like Inhumans, and it's I'm trying to load the video, but of course it doesn't want to load. But it was one of those where like it defeated the heroes for hire, but it was like a 200k punch down with this team, and that I think is going to be interesting to see. Also, the 250k heroes for hire team that you had in your alliance. What was how many T4s did he have on that team?
I actually that's a good question. I didn't ask him, but just looking at everything else, like the overall investment, I don't think any T4s.
Yeah, which is nuts to me.
Yeah, I can ask him to be sure, but
Yeah, ask
yeah.
him and ask him if he knows. But yeah, I'll pull it back up here. This was a 611k power on this Inhumans Surfa Hella team against a 380k. And if I remember correctly, when this guy's fighting, he loses a few characters in the process too. And you're talking a 200k plus punch down, and they're still picking off characters. It's a nasty team, and this is what I think. For me, this is going to be another Black Order kind of team where when they're low power levels, there's some counters to them. But once you start investing in this team, upping those T4 counts on them, and building them up to like 700k power on a Heroes for Hire team, I think that's going to become a team that's very, very difficult to counter because you have to do these massive punch downs for them. And it's going to be kind of difficult to run a 900k power team to counter a 700k Heroes for Hire team.
I mean, I think a lot of this might go away with ISO Blue because there's rumors of that changing the dynamic a lot.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then I don't know if you saw that screenshot of that 979k symbiote team.
I did see that.
So like we are getting close to the mark where people are going to start having 1,000,000 power teams.
Yeah, that was
ISO Blue is going to push people
team.
over.
It had to be a defense team because you
it was.
I don't think you can get up that high without
with Armory, maybe not.
Without the war defense bonuses like Medbay and armor or Medbay barracks and whatever else.
Yeah, I think you're right, but still, right?
Yeah.
You open up a room and you're staring at a nearly 1,000,000 point defense team. What are you gonna throw at that?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, what do you? And that was a symbiote team, which I mean, I think still Brotherhood might be able to lock that down at a 200k punch up, maybe. But what are you gonna do against this team?
Yeah.
Right? What are you gonna do if the answer is a 200k all meta arena team punch down? What are you gonna do when you start encountering these bigger teams?
Yeah, and that's
right?
the big thing is like these teams that people are bringing out that are one-shotting are these big punch downs, but it's Hela, Black Bolt, Silver Surfer. It's like your meta characters you're having to use to beat Heroes for Hire, and it looks like it could be a counter to Heroes for Hire, but you're handicapping yourself so much in the process because you're losing out on at least a few teams trying to counter Heroes for Hire.
I think this is going to, if that is the answer, if that is a current answer, I think it's going to force people to push more depth to be able to have more than 12 full attack teams or 8 full attack teams, depending on where they are in their alliance. If they're doing that, to be able to actually afford this and still have enough attack teams that can make an impact.
Yep.
Right? And I mean, it kind of fits in with what Scopely's done with everything else, with RTA, with the Greek raids, right? They are really, really, really pushing for us to upgrade all of our characters. You want catalyst, you need to upgrade hand, right? You want ability materials, you need to do. I mean, before it was defenders. Now you can go in with a defender or even heroes for hire and symbiote hybrid and clear that challenge and
Yep.
block party. Like it's just it's
Now
they
you can
want
use
us.
heroes for hire for block party if nothing else.
Yeah,
They're city
I mean,
heroes.
yeah, there's defenders on there. Yeah, you could do that. I don't know if you'd want to have your first. I'd laugh so hard if they couldn't actually defeat that because the other thing with
There's
this team is
no way.
they are a war based team, and I talked about this with you before, and this may have been while Misty was bugged, but I lost a 200k punch up at 8-3 in Blitz. Or
Yeah.
I mean, it was a Blitz sim, so I don't know what happened. But the team is supposed to be a defense team, meaning they are smart with the AI. But it's a defender. It was a Heroes for Hire versus defender. I was running JJ on the team, and it was a 200k punch up against a regular defender team, and I lost.
I
But I had that
will.
happen. I mean, I had that happen with X Force too. So is it that these teams are only useful? These characters are only useful in war?
To be fair, defenders teams, I don't know what is going on with defender teams and auto blitz, but like they'll just like randomly take their Wheaties and just kick butt on teams. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish there was a way to like go back. And I know we talked about this when Simplets first came out. Like, I want to see how this matchup actually happened. Like, is there a replay? I know it was a sim, but is there a replay function where I can like go and watch the fight,
Yeah.
watch the computer do the fight to determine the outcome? Like, I think that'd be a really interesting thing to see because I mean you could also use that to test teams properly, but
Mm-hmm.
it is still Blitz, right? So
Yep.
uh, yeah, what do you think about seeing these two showing up in Doom raids? Do you think that we will
Uh,
start to see
I
use
don't.
from
I don't
Misty or
want.
Colleen?
I don't want to think about that.
I
Honestly, I wouldn't worry too much about Misty. I'd worry more about Colleen.
Getting her up into the Doom raids?
Well, no, I'm sorry. I thought you meant like facing them in the Doom
Oh no
raids.
no no!
Um, I wouldn't use either,
You wouldn't use
honestly.
either. Not recommended.
I mean, Colleen's skill, but there is a nice thing where she can apply offense down to enemies upon an enemy death, which is great. I like that. But I think she has to have heroes for hire allies to do that. And Misty applies speed up to herself or heroes for hire allies on enemy death. Neither one of those do too much. Most of the power in heroes for hire is going to be ward defense. I don't see a lot of lasting power for a full heroes for hire team outside of defense. I think they're decent in blitz at least, but I mean time will tell on that. We'll see. But
She she needs hero for higher allies
mhm.
to apply offense down.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
why I don't think it's gonna work.
Yep. Which I
Because
mean,
Luke and
it's
Iron
a good
Fist and
thing.
Misty aren't skill, so there's no way.
Yeah, I think that's partially a good thing because even though they said that they don't want any skippable teams, I think if you do not focus on war and war defense, if you're not in a competitive war alliance, you can probably currently skip this team,
Yep.
but they also might know that. And I mean, there's people that are saying that, oh, Heroes for Hire plus Kestrel is going to be the next legendary requirement, which I mean, I could see with both of them being blitzed that they might do that and sell more offers, but um, it seems like a skippable team.
Yeah. Yeah, actually we can use a segue into the next thing. Speaking of Kestrel in Heroes for Hire.
Yeah.
Fifth character members. You and I have been talking about it a lot. So for me personally, I'm sitting in security in our ward defense rooms. And security applies defense down to the enemy team at the start of the fight. And I've been using Kestrel on defense a lot because that she's basically just blasting someone at the start of the fight and the enemy just doesn't have a chance. I'm using her with Mercs and they clean up really well on war defense. And now I'm going to try Kestrel with Heroes for Hire on war defense and to see how that works. But I think that one's kind of situational depending on security and whether or not you can you can hold those defense down buffs from security and keep on holding on to that room. But in terms of the fifth characters, we're talking a little bit about Jessica Jones and Marvel and Ms. Marvel before we started recording. And Ms. Marvel, I know, intrigues a lot of people. If you want to explain a little bit on why you like Ms. Marvel with Heroes for Hire.
It's the four tap with the ISOs.
Mm-hmm.
So, Colleen will always get an assist from a Misty Knight. Now we know from the original conversations with Corvus and Proxima with the assist and the ISO is why you want Striker on one of them and Skirmisher on the other is that they will assist each other. So the Striker will go. So in this case, Colleen will go attack, get an assist from Misty. Misty will attack and apply vulnerable, and that will cause Colleen to go and use that vulnerable as a striker.
Mm-hmm.
Now you add a second assistant to the mix. You add a second, so a Miss Marvel who will assist on hero brawlers, and there's two hero brawlers on this team who she will assist. So now you have a double chance of being able to apply that vulnerable, and you're getting 4 hits. Right, so Colleen has the potential to wipe somebody off the map with 1 hit. If she gets the right assist, the right crit, or she gets both assists, she gets the right crit, and hits that ISO attack, it is like it's game over. Like you could lose. I mean, it's like going against the Dad Bros, right? Like you get that team going, and you can't do anything. You sit there, and they just kill you, right? And it's the same thing here. Is you're going to get one ability. You could go in with the fastest team. Colleen goes once, you're probably losing somebody.
Yeah. She does some respectable damage. I've noticed that in testing with her in Blitz. That's without the T4s on her abilities too. I've just had the T4 on her passive. Once I start putting those T4s on her other abilities, I expect to really see an increase in her damage. Plus that piercing she does is huge. It's a big deal.
I'm gonna be completely honest.
Uh-huh.
So I have Colleen at G12. I have Misty at G12. Outside of Sim Blitz, I have not played either of them.
Oh, really?
I haven't done any testing, playing around.
Oh man, you should.
It's just like I mean I would take them into RTA, but at the same time I'm like, do I really want to sit through that, or do I just want to go in with like other teams and just wipe through it because it's RTA, right? So, but at the same time, I definitely and like that's part of the thing with these war defense teams is you don't get to experience them fully, right? So I will probably go in and play with them a little bit, but as of right now, I have not. If I didn't watch any videos, I wouldn't even know what Colleen's abilities look like.
Yeah, those abilities are long. It's turning into novels on these abilities.
Yeah.
But before we wrap it up, any other 5th slot characters you really like for Heroes for Hire?
Jessica Jones, I think, is like going to be your staple, just because she's a defender. But the only other one I could really think of, like maybe you could throw like a Taskmaster, another like pesky, maybe an Emma, just a pesky war defense character on there to make it that much worse.
Yeah,
it's just I don't want to give people ideas because I know next alliance I face is gonna do that.
The big one to mention is Doom, but I mean that's like stereotypically you throw Doom in on everything and he makes it better. Yeah, I'm thinking about who else you could throw in there that would make it like just crazy annoying that wouldn't strip away from another team.
Punisher with the bonus.
Yes, Punisher
attack bonus.
Yeah, Punisher with the city hero bonuses. That'd be a big one. I
think if you can peel your Punisher away from your skill military, or if you don't have skill military running, you could do that. I could also, in that same scenario, see a Red Guardian.
Yep. Yeah, some kind of pre-taunt character, Red Guardian.
Or Drax. Just I mean,
well,
they don't
that's the
need
thing
the
too
protection.
with Ms. Marvel. So Ms. Marvel is able to auto taunt whenever they drop below 50% health. So they heal back up to full, and then she taunts. That's another big appeal with Ms. Marvel as well. I'm trying to go through and think about who else, but Ultron. What about Ultron?
Yeah, um, I think that if you take in a big enough black bolt, and I'm talking like a big enough black bolt, like I'm talking 200k punch down kind of black bolt, Ultron would be your liability on that team as well. Right? He
Yeah,
wouldn't do
that is
anything,
true.
right?
Um,
And having Ultron there might be the decision factor for that person to uh, rip the bandit off and use Black Bolt versus going for something else. Because
yep.
like there's guys in my alliance, they see an Ultron, they are going straight at it with Black Bolt. They see Red Skull Hydra, they're going straight at it with Black Bolt or Zemo. Like because those teams were designed to take out those characters and those other teams, that's what they're going for.
Yep.
Right? And it's just like autopilot. You see that, then you just go for it. So I could see that being a thing. I could also see it as a great way to waste a black bolt, force somebody to waste a black bolt.
I mean,
But
that's the thing though, is that people are using Black Bolt anyways because you gotta block those revives.
yeah,
And I think that's one of the cool things too is yeah, you could try to knock out Ultron or you have him try to knock out a Heroes for Hire character.
well,
Cause now
Kestrel also knocks out Rez,
yeah, that is true.
right? With her ultimate.
Yeah, with her ultimate, if she kills them with the ultimate, they can't revive. And she can also block summons,
Which
so she can block Ultron.
if um she has offense up and
Yeah.
you're going in on like a 50, depending on the power levels, like even at 60% health, she could probably wipe somebody off the map
Yeah.
and they wouldn't come back. And then you could die, and then somebody else could go in and hopefully clean up that team. I'm actually curious to see if the reason that AIM team lost, that they were forced to use the power armor, is if the charge mechanic still existed, even with Iron Fist gone. Like, I'm sure we would have heard something about it, but I don't know how many people have encountered these teams so far, if it's enough to be able to find that kind of bug, right? That if you kill one, do the others still retain the charge mechanic
I think what it
on
is
the next
just
kill?
those three, Luke, Colleen, and Misty. You're still talking a pretty powerful combo there. I mean, they reset abilities every time. Luke just puts
Yeah,
defense up and deflect on all of them, and Colleen just goes ham. So
that's very true.
yeah, and plus you have the targeted attacks with Misty going for highest health and highest damage characters. Same with
Yep.
Colleen. I think she's going for highest damage on her special. Um, but yeah, one other thing to mention here, real quick. Silver Surfer. I don't know if you heard about this, but we are finding out that the ability to strip charge with his ultimate can be resisted, which has led to some frustration with people today trying to use Silver Surfer to counter Heroes for Hire.
Well, wasn't that? Didn't we discover that when we first took in a 2-star Silver Surfer into a 7-star Emma and didn't strip the charged, and people were saying that Silver Surfer's broken?
See,
And
I
it
don't
was just like,
know.
well, you're taking in a 2-star into a 7-star. Like, obviously, you're not going to be able. That focus resist check is going to be huge, and I think that's what we're getting to here because Luke gives resist, right? One of them must give high resist.
It's the defense up that he gives with the that gives the plus the deflex. I mean, deflex have like a 25% base chance of just resisting everything. So
Mhm.
that could be part of it. Um,
No, Luke gives armor
yeah, I don't think anybody on the
to max
team
health.
gives base
Resist.
base resist or anything like that. I know Misty gives bonus focus to herself at least.
Oh, I got it. I got it with JJ.
Yeah, so that's
Defender
why.
allies 40% resist. City allies 20% resist. Additional allies 15% resist.
Yeah,
It's not huge, but it might be enough, especially if you're taking in a smaller surfer into a smaller star surfer.
mm-hmm.
That resist check might be there, and it might be enough to hold off peeling that charge off. I mean, I've had it happen countless times where it's resisted, and I was just like, okay, I mean, it's fine. Like, it's a roll of the dice. You're gonna get it sometimes. You're not gonna get it every time,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, it's part of the RNG with the game with some of these characters.
Yep. All right. Well, we've been going on here long enough. Before we wrap this up, anything else you want to add?
Uh, Wail harder on this character
I
on this team.
yeah,
Seriously,
whale hard on this
oof.
team
Like if you
because
are a competitive war team, a competitive war alliance, you are going to want this team.
yep,
You're going to want them on your side. You're going to want more on your side than on the other side because I think, especially like if you're looking at Plat 1 and maybe even Gold 4, maybe even Plat 2, it's not going to be, it's going to end up being who has more Heroes for Hire on defense.
yep,
Who wins is going to, that's how it's going to be determined.
yep,
Um, and it used to be like that with Black Order. Now Black Order has many answers. You can throw symbiotes at them with the right ISOs and be able to do a 50, 100k punch up on them now, right? But there's no answer to this team yet. We might get one. We might get a weird hybrid like we did when Asgardians first came out. Maybe Ultimus gets used again. We don't know, right? It's gonna be weeks of testing before we actually find out real answers for this team. But until then, you don't want to afford to lose wars because you are missing a key new hot war defense team.
yep.
So yeah, that's all. That's what I got to say about it, and I'm glad I did. I know I said it's a skippable team, but if you're competitive in war, it's not a skippable team.
No, it's definitely not skippable if you're competitive for war. But let us know down below, what do you guys think about Heroes for Hire so far? What have you thought about with fighting against it? If you have fought against it, what have your experience has been with it on defense? Let us know down below. But as always, make sure to hit that like button, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.